meditation is a very, very simple subject, if you call it a subject. We try to silence our mind. Here, at every moment, we are at the mercy of thoughts. Sometimes it is good thought. Most of the time, thoughts are uncomely, uninspiring. But when we meditate, we silence our mind. And once we can silence our mind, we feel we inside our mind soulful thoughts, inspiring thoughts, illuminating thoughts, and fulfilling thoughts. So meditation is the only way to silence our mind, and the divine qualities that are inside the mind we can bring to the fore by virtue of proper meditation.
How does one go about meditating? Say someone who has never done it before, someone who is not familiar with the process.
Well, if he does not have a teacher, he can read some spiritual books. These books will help him immensely. And if he is fortunate to have a spiritual master to be a source of inspiration or guidance, then he is fortunate.
What do you see as the spiritual mood of this planet right now, with all the recent events that have been happening in international affairs and national affairs and so many different cultures and societies opening up new doors to the future? What spiritual mood do you see on this planet right now?
Well, I strongly feel that the world is progressing. The world has a sincere hunger for peace. Sometimes we unfortunately enter into where we wage war and so forth, but in the very depths of our hearts we are all longing for peace, a oneness home. So the future is quite bright, and I am an optimist. I always see the bright side of human life, because our source is God, and He is all light and all delight. So eventually we are going to our source, and it is through a life of peace, a oneness heart, that we can reach our source, which is infinite delight.
Where does the darkness come from?
Darkness comes from our division. You and I are one. Here you are talking heart to heart. Here I am not trying, even in my wildest dream, to see bad qualities in you. Only I am seeing your heart of compassion, vastness, love. You have genuine good feeling for me, and I also have the same. So, but instead of that, if I want to see something undivine in you, uninspiring, I can do. But that is only divide. I am only dividing myself from you. You are God's child, supremely chosen instrument of God. Here you are inspiring millions of people daily. And instead of that, you could have done something else, very uninspiring, undivine. So here I am seeing how you are serving. See, countless human beings with your aspiration. You want people to be good, people to be aspiring. So I am seeing all your good qualities, and I do hope you are also seeing good qualities. Otherwise, if we want to see bad qualities in each other, then there is that it is countless. But one good quality saves us, love. My love of you, I feel you are an excellent man, inspiring so many people every day. So you are also seeing the good quality in me. So when you use our mind, it is all division. When you use our hearts, it is all oneness. So if there is oneness, we don't see any darkness. Like a mother and a child. According to the mother, the child is always perfect. Only others will say, no, he's a very naughty boy. This, no, my child. Again, the same mother, son also, reciprocal. The son is all affection for the mother. And his mother cannot do anything wrong. My mother is all compassion, all affection, all concern for me. So it is based on love that we unite ourselves, and it is in the heart is our oneness. But this oneness we have to bring into our mind as well, otherwise we shall remain imperfect.
How do we bring that into our mind, that oneness, the love that you're talking about?
Yes, let us take the heart room as the room of illumination. an electrician has brought light, let us, into a particular room. Now the same electrician has the capacity to bring light into another room. So here the electrician is here the seeker. The seeker, by praying and meditating, he has brought light into his heart room. Now the same seeker will pray and meditate to bring light into his mind room, which he will do it eventually.
You said you're an optimist.
Yes.
You're hopeful for the future. Why?
Because our source is all illumination. If our source is all joy, all love, all compassion, how can we be otherwise? As we sow, so we reap. If the source is full of illumination, it is a matter of time for us to bring to the fore the dormant qualities. Right now, divine qualities are dormant in us, they are inherent, but a day will come by virtue of our prayer and meditation, feeling of oneness, we shall be able to inundate the world with peace and love. To increase our capacities in each and every field.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is. Because meditation makes us, helps us at every moment to offer our own individual will to God's will. So if we can identify by meditation, if we can identify ourselves, we can establish our oneness with God's will, is there anything that we cannot achieve? When he said, let thy will be done, that means my Father and I are one. Mm-hmm. On the strength of his oneness, he said, my Father and I are one. Then the Son became the Father himself. Mm-hmm. Just because we do not have that kind of faith in our Creator, we are separated from the Creator, from the creation. So meditation only unites us with the rest of the world, with heaven and earth. Meditation. So if meditation is the capacity, meditation is the capacity to unite us. The journey and the goal for meditation is in between, and meditation as a starter, meditation carries me to my destination, to my goal.
So start a few minutes in the morning and then...
What is the value of meditation?
Yes, the value of meditation is incalculable. One cannot measure the value of meditation. It is something measureless. When you meditate, we enter into our source. The source is the infinite, eternal, and the immortal in us. So when we establish a free access to our infinite capacities within us, we feel that we can be of dedicated service to humanity. So meditation takes us deep within and then again brings us to the fore. Our inner divinities, inner qualities, meditation, by virtue of meditation, we can bring to the fore and offer our qualities to humanity. So
is it important to have a teacher for meditation? And do you need a mantra and things like that? Or if you don't really know anything about meditating, can you just sit down and meditate?
Certainly you can. It is not at all obligatory to have a teacher. And the person who did the best meditation on earth didn't have the teacher. But again,
that person was?
Whoever was,
okay.
Whoever realized God, whether you can say, we say Lord Krishna and you say Jesus Christ, and somebody, there are quite a few world saviors. Right. So then again, he who realized the highest, the absolute, for the first time, didn't have a teacher. Mm-hmm. Now here there are many people who go to school, colleges and universities, and again there are people like Bernard Shaw and India's Tagore. They did not have university degrees. Right. So here, if you have a teacher, well and good, but if you do not have, then you don't have to be doomed to disappointment.
Can you just sit down and meditate?
Certainly you can, only to make your mind calm, quiet and tranquil. And if you have read some books, spiritual books, then they can be of tremendous help to you.
Mm-hmm.
You meditate always when you're lifting weights, when you're doing the music, the compositions, poetry, art, the paintings? Is it always when you're meditating?
If it is personal, in my case, I always feel that somebody is meditating in and through me. Consciously I meditate for hours, and again I see and feel clearly that my inner pilot, I call, he is praying, he is meditating in and through me.
The inner pilot, that's an interesting expression.
Interesting.
How do you explain that to people who've never heard that? Well, I've heard it before from you. What does it mean?
Journey, we need a boat. If we want to reach a destination, we become a passenger, and there is a boatman, and the boatman plies the boat and takes us to our destination. Similarly, in the inner life also there is a river, a consciousness river. Near the boatman, I am in his, out of his infinite bounty, he has allowed me to be in his boat. So now he is piloting the boat to my destination. He is the boat, he is the boatman, again he is the goal. So now I am a passenger. So he is, with all his infinite compassion and love, he is the boatman, he is sailing the boat towards the destination.
Do you feel, is there a certain time of the day to meditate?
Of course, for everything there is a special time for us to eat at a particular time and take rest, sleep at a particular time. In that case, it is always advisable to meditate early in the morning and in the evening, at least twice. Because early in the morning, before the hustle and bustle, before you enter into the hustle and bustle of life, if you can pray and meditate, and then we make a very fast progress. In the evening, when the sun sets in, we feel the nature is peaceful, and that is the time. Early in the morning, early in the morning and in the evening. These two, early in the morning and the evening are the best times for each and every human being. Again, some people keep late hours, find it very difficult to get up early in the morning. So I say, whenever you get up is the best time for you. You get up, say, at 5 o'clock, and I get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. For you, 5 o'clock is the best time. For me, I get up at 10 o'clock. So at least before I enter into earthly activities, if I perform my heavenly activities, which is my prayer life and meditation life, then I feel that I am doing the right thing.
Prayer and meditation are not the same.
No, prayer and meditation are two different things.
All right, but about meditation, do you have a tip or a suggestion for the many people who watch us about what would be the best way to meditate, a successful technique for it?
Yes. When you meditate, the very first thing that meditation demands from us is peace of mind. And how do you get peace of mind? You get peace of mind only when you do not allow any thought to enter into our mind. Each time a thought enters into our mind, we feel that somebody is knocking at the door, or somebody is hammering at the wall. So now we don't want to be disturbed by thoughts or anything that is not in tune with our prayer and meditation.
How do you meditate consciously? That was interesting to hear. I mean, when you say meditation, I think the average person out there in the audience will think basically the Buddha position or something of that nature. How do we meditate?
You meditate even while you're sitting there.
Now I'm meditating. See, I am here with you on television, here at the studio. I'm very grateful to see.
And with that, he's meditating. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm curious how he's able to do that.
So this
it
is
takes me 3 hours to fall asleep. How can you do that?
No.
It is
As soon as it is at my command that I don't want. Believe me, I didn't allow any thought interference. I didn't allow any thought. I just, in a fleeting second, I entered into my highest I don't want.
But did you hear me speaking while I was interrupting? I mean,
Yes, I was quite conscious.
yeah,
But it did not disturb me. That you said they don't want to interrupt me, but it did not interrupt me. It did not interfere. I heard it, but at the same time, it did not affect me. Like the sky, the birds are flying and the planes are flying. I don't think the sky is affected. Vast sky, you see, we hear noise. We human beings, when we hear the loud crash, loud noise, the plane, and makes, then we are disturbed. We are annoyed. But the sky is not annoyed. The golden flute, a sea of peace and joy and light, beyond my reach I know. In me the storm-tossed weeping night finds room to rage and flow. I cry aloud, but all in vain. I, helpless, the earth unkind, what soul of might can share my pain? Death dart alone I find. A raft am I on the sea of time, my oars are washed away. How can I hope to reach the clime of God's eternal day? But hark, I hear thy golden flute, its notes bring the summit down. Now safe am I, O absolute. Gone death, gone night's stark frown. This is my second attempt. Apocalypse. Within, without, the cosmos wide am I. Within, without, the cosmos wide am I. In joyful sweep, I loose forth and draw back all. A birthless, deathless spirit that moves and is still, ever abides within to hear my call. I who create on earth my joys and doles, to fulfill my matchless quest in all my play. I veil my face of truth with golden hues, and see the serpent night and python day. A consciousness bliss I feel in each breath. I am the self-amorous child of the sun. At will I break and build my symbols shith, and freely enjoy the world's unshadowed fun. My third poem, The Absolute. No mind, no form, I only exist. Now ceased all will, now ceased all will and thought. The final end of nature's dance, I am it whom I have sought. A realm of bliss bare, ultimate, beyond both known and known, a rest immense and joy at last. I face the one alone. I have crossed the secret waves of life. I have become the goal. The truth immutable is revealed. I am the way, the God's soul. My spirit aware of all the heights. I am mute in the core of the sun. I barter nothing with time and deeds. My cosmic play is done.
We're now going to have an opportunity to hear from an Indian mystic, a teacher of meditation, Sri Chinmoy.
I'm with Sri Chinmoy, and he is an Indian mystic who has helped a number of people throughout the world learn how to meditate, and he especially teaches meditation at the United Nations. And we are sitting in a beautiful restaurant in Queens, the Anam Brahman restaurant. Sri, for a number of people in today's society, to meditate is very hard. It's something we hear about, we know we should be doing. How do you teach meditation?
Now, I would like to tell you one thing before I answer your question. About 15 or 16 years ago, I found that it was difficult for the American mind or heart, or let us say American society, to meditate. But now I see it is not a difficult task for the Americans, for the Westerners, to meditate well. I've come across thousands and thousands of seekers over the last 10 or 15 years, and I see that there are quite a few seekers who do extremely good meditation. Yes, there was a time meditation was a difficult subject for the Americans and for the Western mind, but now they have become really an expert in that field too.
When did you start meditating?
I started meditating at the age of 6 or 7, but at the age of 11, I started meditating most seriously. I became fully aware of meditative life. So at the age of 11, I took it seriously.
Was it easy for you to meditate?
It was quite easy for me for two reasons. I came into a religious and spiritual family. My parents and my brothers and sisters, I was the youngest in the family. They all started walking along that path of meditation. So I simply followed them. This is one reason, and also I believe in reincarnation. So in my previous incarnations, I did meditate a lot. So now it is like revising a book you studied so well in your previously, 50, 60 years ago, and then you completely forgot, or God wanted you to do something else, so you didn't pay attention. Now you are again revising the same old book.
When we were talking before turning on the TV camera, you mentioned that when you're praying, there's an interaction between the beloved and the lover. Could you share that with us?
We were talking about contemplation. Yes, concentration, meditation, and contemplation. These are the three rungs in a spiritual ladder. Spiritual ladder has 3 steps. The first one is concentration, the second one is meditation, third is contemplation. So when you concentrate, we focus our attention on a particular subject or object. This object has to be smaller than the smallest. If we want to acquire power through our concentration, then the object has to be as small as possible, tiny, fingertips. So that like a rocket, like an arrow, we can enter into our goal. This is concentration. And when you want to meditate, this is next, you have to be very calm and quiet, like this. This is the power of concentration. This is meditation. When you meditate, we shall try to feel inside us vastness, immensity, a vast sky, a vast sea inside us. Meditation is, when you meditate, you have to think, you have to imagine, you have to feel something larger than the largest. Vastness, an ocean of peace, or a blue vast sky. That is meditation. So concentration is smaller than the smallest. Meditation is the larger than the largest. Then when you contemplate, we have to realize that God the Creator and God the Creator has become God the creation, and God the Beloved has become God the Lover. So I am now God the Lover, and I have to become God the Beloved. I am now God the creation. I have to become God the Creator.
I notice that when you concentrate or you meditate or you contemplate, your eyes are moving back and forth.
Yeah, I am moving from one plane of consciousness to another. Like a bird, a life tree has many branches. So the bird is flying from one plane, from one branch to another, one branch to another. It is not my restlessness. It is the bird of consciousness inside me is flying from one plane of consciousness to another. It's going from one to another. The consciousness is flying from one plane of the bird within me. The soul bird is flying from one plane of consciousness to another. It is flying from higher, higher. While meditating, please try to feel that you are breathing in and breathing out through your heart, not through your nose. Just imagine today Pablo Casal, Luis Perez told me such nice things about imagination. So I'm just telling, imagination is the reality in its own right. It is real, absolutely real thing in our life. So trying to imagine, here is the place for you to breathe in and breathe out, and here is the place that you have a garden, the most beautiful garden inside your heart. Then please try to find out the most beautiful flower, that you feel that this is the most beautiful flower. And then try to feel, try to smell the fragrance of that flower. Then in a few minutes, please feel that your heart itself is the fragrance. Your heart itself is the fragrance. And then your meditation will be very deep. The other day I said, please try to get up at 6 o'clock, even if you go to bed 5:30, and meditate for 10 minutes at least, and then go back again. But if you make it, I'll be very happy. And if God is asleep, He's not visiting you, and if you are not, then you can meditate at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, instead of 6 o'clock. Before 6, you can meditate any time. But after 6, if it is simply impossible, if you are bedridden, and if you have serious mental problems and all that, what can I say? Otherwise, make it a point to meditate every day, 6 o'clock. Even if you go to bed, 5:30, after the meditation, you can go back to sleep. After the meditation, you can go back to sleep for half an hour or 2 hours. But try to make it a point to meditate at 6 o'clock. But if you are not getting enough sleep and you feel in a good mood, or how if you don't fall asleep, then how to get good meat? You can't have a good sleep. But anyway, if you give priority to your meditation, then you can meditate 4:30, 5 o'clock, you can meditate. But if you not before 12, if you are going to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, if you meditate, that will not be counted. This has to be after 2. Your Guru used to get up 7 minutes past 2 for years and years. So here also, I'm telling you, after 2, between 2 and 6, if you want to meditate, you can meditate for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, but not before 2. Between 3 and 4, they say the hours of God, Brahma Muhurta, the hours. So between 2 and 6, if you want to meditate, but if you are very, very sick, tired, exhausted, what can you do then? Whenever you get them, because after 6, this atmosphere, nature gets very, very restless. Their restlessness enters into us.
We used to go to Mayaguez once. At that time, always up. The bird was flying up. The bird said, I am not going to go down. Even if I go up, go slowly, no harm, but I am going there. But the bird is not doing that. The bird is now looking down and says, my God, have I really gone so high? Means in those days, flight is going up all the time, not looking. Now we look and see and what, am I really so high? But we know that time goal was going like this. Now goal is like not the goal, but looking down, and only if you are 5 inches above, then we flatter ourselves. Oh my God, that I'm so high. So I'm so high. At that time, 5,000 miles up. But even then you feel, perhaps I have not gone up. I mean, it's not high enough. It is not high enough. So that time, so high, even then I'm not high enough. Now you look down at this much, oh, I got so high, I'm so high. And am I really? I've got so high. So now you see, now the distance, we are looking at a distance. This distance you are valuing much more than the distance at that time when you were so high. This is the thing that you know, that time higher, but you are thinking you are not satisfied. Thinking, oh, I am not high enough. My flight is not, aspiration is not high enough. Now, if you pray one day and 2 weeks, even if you don't pray, oh, immediately, oh, I prayed. You are thinking of 2 weeks when you prayed very sincerely one day. And in those days, but when you meditate, like this when you pray, our goal is to go and see and touch the feet of God and be at His feet all the time. But when you meditate like this, we bring Him down. We meditate Him. It is like the kite. When you release it, it goes up. Then again you can bring it down. So when you meditate, we bring Him down into our heart, and then we say, then now you utilize us. We are ignorant. Prayer is going up to see the feet, and meditation, feet of God, and meditation is to bring down the compassion eye and the forgiveness feet of God to bring down. So one goes up to see, another goes down to bring down.
Is it a mistake then that we in prayer we're really asking for something rather than just communicating?
No, that's not a mistake. But if you pray for something good, it is not a mistake. My mind is bothering me. My mind is full of doubt, suspicion, anger, and so forth. See, if I pray to God, please, oh God, please remove my doubt, suspicion, anxiety, worry, and so many negative forces. So this is not good. But again, if you pray to God to give me 10 houses, 20 cars, that is bad. That is possession. Here something, if I pray to God, if He comes down with His compassion, if He illumines me, things that I am asking, because my doubting mind has created so much problem for me, my suspicious mind. So God is all the time is ready to help us if you are praying to Him for something good. So, but we have to know what kind of prayer it is. To come, for God to come and remove my fear, doubt, anxiety, or I am praying for my material success. If they pray together, if it is possible, if they pray together, it will be more effective. But if they cannot, what can you do? If you can meditate together, you can get better results. And again, some people think that, when as soon as they see somebody else, their inspiration disappears. Aspiration disappears. But the ideal thing is to meditate together as often as possible, pray together. Because it's a collective work. Collective work, it is good to, as often as possible. Here deep within us, each individual has music. Now, good music and bad music, all we are not authorized. I can say this is good, you can say no, that very thing is bad. But I do know which type of music disturbs me and destroys my nerves. So if it is a prayerful music, soulful music, then that music is definitely going to help us establish oneness in the world community. So the prayerful music, soulful music can be of tremendous help in bringing about world peace. But that music has a special appeal to our heart, to the longing that we have for a better life, better existence. Each time we play music or each time we sing a song, we have to know that this prayer, this piece of music is going to help us to see the light that we have within us and increase the light and bring the light to the fore and transform the darkness that the mind has or the mind is. So it all depends on what kind of music we play and what kind of songs we sing. There are various types of music, various kinds of songs. You see. So music is not what kind of music we are playing. If it is a prayerful music, soulful music, then it is of tremendous help in our inner life, in our outer life as well.
Sri Chinmoy has dedicated his life to world peace. He is an author, poet, artist, musician, athlete, and spiritual leader. He has met many world leaders like Pope John Paul, U Thant, Mikhail Gorbachev to bring them his message of peace. He has performed in more than 200 concerts around the world. The late Leonard Bernstein called his music powerful and incredible. Sri Chinmoy has been called an ambassador of peace and the 20th century's first global man. And he is our guest tonight on Westchester Newsline. Sri Chinmoy, thank you for coming by. We appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to talk about your music. Being an amateur musician, I know how hard it is to practice and get the music to come out of yourself. With you, it comes naturally. You had no formal training. We're going to show a clip of you playing the piano in just a minute. You've composed over 7,000 songs. You play a variety of instruments. Where does your inspiration come from?
My inspiration comes from my aspiration. I pray and meditate. From my prayer life and meditation life, I get inspiration. And my inspiration I offer to the world with music and poetry, art, and a few other things.
I've noticed you playing the piano and watching your hands when you play. You don't always use your fingers as conventional piano players do. You use the side of your hand. How does it come to you?
It comes spontaneously. As you know, I do not have any formal training, but my inspiration carries me all along. When I play at that time, I do not think of my fingers as such. Whatever compels me or inspires me to play on the keyboards, I do use it.
How does that come out of you? How does the inspiration come out of you?
It comes directly from my heart of aspiration. As I said before, I pray and meditate, so something from within plays in and through me, and I call him my inner pilot, my source.
We are going to show you a brief film clip right now of Sri Chinmoy playing. He has given concerts all over the world. We're going to show you a little bit, we're going to run it right now, of what his music is all about and how it comes from his heart. So let's roll the videotape and we will see Sri Chinmoy playing piano. you have been watching Sri Chinmoy playing piano here, he is also an accomplished musician with many other instruments. What are some of the other instruments you play?
I play viola, cello, western flute, then Indian instruments, estras, and horn, recorder, Indian side flute, and bass.
A regular one-man band, I guess, huh?
Usually I play about 27 instruments when I perform at significant places.
Formerly trained musicians like Leonard Bernstein have praised your work. Also some musicians that other people will be familiar with, like Carlos Santana, John McLaughlin, have also been inspired by your music. What do you think these people see in your music?
They see, perhaps they see in my music simplicity, purity, and mainly a longing for a better life.
What is the message you are trying to convey as you go around the world, giving your concerts? What is the message you are trying to put out through your music?
Yes. Through my music, I try to offer my feeling of oneness, inseparable oneness. We are all one, we belong to one family, and music is a universal language. I do not have to learn any foreign language. Only one language is enough, that is music. Heart to heart. Music is our heart to heart conversation. So through music, I try to establish my oneness with you and your oneness with me as well.
You have said, and I'm quoting you here, when we expand our heart, we see the entire world inside our heart. What do you mean by that?
Well, when we pray and meditate, we enter into vastness. Especially when we meditate, we feel we have entered into the vastness of an ocean. So inside this ocean, the drops are like individual human beings, collective beings. The ocean embodies countless drops. So here the drop is an individual human being. Inside the universal heart, we see countless human beings. And it is through music. Music has a free access to the universal heart, that it transcends time and climb.
Is repetitive prayer good? Like
yes.
Mantra type of prayer?
That's very good. In that way, we bring to the fore our hidden capacities. You repeat, Christ, 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 then Christ consciousness enters into you. Because at that time when you're repeating Christ, 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 Savior, 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 you are not able to think of anything else, anything undivine, anything rubbish. But you are focused all your attention on a particular subject, on a particular person, on the Savior. So if you repeat the same word, the same mantra, we call incantation mantra, then you are bound to get the qualities of that divinity.
Hence the rosary.
Hence the rosary.
Or the litanies in Catholicism,
Right.
something emphasis
Other
on
than
that.
in the Orthodox Jewish faith.
Then mind will not roam around. Mind will be always focused on one thing. Otherwise, the mind acts like a monkey, restless monkey, jump from here to there.
Which we do too much of in our society.
Been credited by such people as Bernstein and Pablo Casals as being quite extraordinary in that field.
Well, they're extremely kind to me, and I am a true lover of music, and I have been playing music since my childhood.
From what I can gather, you carry your instruments with you all the way. You've brought the flute into the studio with us. Would you be kind enough to play for us?
Yes.
Please?
Right now?
Please, if you'd like to. You've written several thousand compositions. In fact, one year you wrote some 1,000-odd compositions.
God's grace can enable human being to do anything he wants to. It is, I entirely depend on God's grace, not my capacity.
Would you give me an example of your flute, please, sir? peacefulness in that, isn't it? You can feel it. You also paint.
Yes.
Several thousand paintings a year you're able to do.
Yes, to my credit, 140,000 paintings. But again, it is all God's grace, not my capacity. I have to be very frank.
But you see, when you do so many things, such as you have done so far, and at the same time give 100 free peace concerts around the world, one wonders where you get the time to do everything that you do.
Where there is a will, there is a way. And this will comes from the unconditional grace of my Lord, beloved Supreme, my inner pilot. He showers his blessings upon me, and he, all the time he is trying to express himself in and through me according to my limited, very limited capacity.
You are going to grace our city with 2 free peace concerts,
yes.
One tonight and one tomorrow night.
Right.
And they'll be at the Sports and Entertainment Centre.
I believe.
Right. What kind of concert will it be? What will it consist of?
It will be soulful and peaceful music. It is not the music of vital excitement, but it is the awakening of one's heart. And it is a prayerful, peaceful music. With this music, we try to bring to the fore our inner capacities, which will help us unite the whole world, a family of oneness family. We are trying to create with our prayerful music.
Now, those concerts will be, what, 8 o'clock starting?
Yes, today, 8 o'clock.
The Sports and Entertainment Centre tonight?
Tonight.
And tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
And they are free.
Yeah. I am a truth seeker and God lover. And I know there are many countless people who are in the same boat. So when I give concerts, it is like a family gathering. You know, all those people, they are all my brothers and sisters. We belong to the same family. So at like the Christmas time when family, all the members gather together, I try to do the same. That here I have come with the inspiration, and it is not only I who have the inspiration to offer. In silence, people who are listening to me, they are also inspiring me. It is mutual. I am playing, and if people are receptive, if people are feeling something, their very feeling is a source of inspiration to me. It is give and take. I am giving through music or through my silence, and people who are receptive, who are feeling something in the depth of their heart, also were giving me in return. Mutual give and take. So this is what I do. Wherever I go, I try to offer my inspiration, at the same time collect from them their inspiration, aspiration. This is how I feel that we can establish a oneness world family.
one go about meditating? Say someone who has never done it before, someone who is not familiar with the process.
Well, if he does not have a teacher, he can read some spiritual books. These books will help him immensely. And if he is fortunate to have a spiritual master to be a source of inspiration or guidance, then he is fortunate.
How would you characterize the role of a teacher or a guru on this path? Is it possible to surrender to a teacher or surrender to the ultimate through a teacher, or how does that work?
No. Here there is a great difference between a school teacher and a spiritual master. A school teacher will examine the student and will teach the student, no doubt, but examine. And then if he does well, he will secure good marks. If he does not, then he will fail. But a spiritual master will always play the role of a private tutor. He will teach the student privately and secretly, untiringly, unreservedly. And then he will say, now stand before ignorance sea. Ignorance sea will examine you, taste you, tempt you. You have to be the conqueror of ignorance sea. So here, the spiritual master is a private tutor. He will illumine the student privately through his inner meditation, inner light, and then will say, now my child, go and face ignorance and conquer ignorance. So this is the difference between a school teacher and a spiritual master. And also real spiritual master will tell his students, his disciples, that he is not the master. The real master is God. He is only a representative. As here the president is here, then he has got ambassadors and so many others to represent him in different parts of the world. So here, God, the Absolute Supreme, has these spiritual masters as his representatives for those who are willing to be in their boards. Say, I happen to be a teacher, spiritually. Then, in my boat, he has, out of his infinite bounty, he has given me a boat. And he says that these people are meant for your boat. Then there are other spiritual masters. He will grant them also boats. Then he will say, now you carry your passengers. The passengers that are meant for your boat, you have to carry them, bring them to the destined shore. So, but we are only his messengers. Boatmen you can call, or messenger boy. You are just carrying the messages from this world to the other world. The messenger, spiritual master is nothing but a messenger boy who is faithfully carrying the messages from both the worlds. Here, when I am with my students, I take their cries, you can call imperfections, their bondages, to my beloved Pilot Supreme, and from him I bring smile, peace, and bliss, and I offer. From here I carry one thing to him, and from him I carry something else to my spiritual children. So I am a messenger boy. It is only I am bringing to the forward your own divinity, not my divinity. Your own divinity is like, you have covered it. So I am telling you that, it's box is covered. Now I say, now leave the lid. Just then you open it. So your own divinity, spiritual master, when he comes, he brings forward to the fore the divinity of the disciples. It is not his divinity. Everybody is inside you is God, inside you, inside. So only your divinity is a little bit sleeping. You are sleeping. So I said, no, get up, wake up, it is time. That was the time when I was also, my divinity was also sleeping. But somebody came and said, wake up, wake up, wake up. Now it's time for you to. So then when Master comes, own divinity, your own divinity, Master tries to bring forward. Now, we pray and meditate. We go to school. kindergarten, primary school, high school, college, university, and that you get the highest diploma you get. So you were also praying. So now I also prayed, meditated, not only in this life, but my previous lives I did it. I am a teacher. I teach a way of life. It is not religion, and it is a way of prayers and meditations. So Guru means teacher, as you have teachers in the school. So here also we call the term Guru, one who teaches people how to pray. Well, I have students over 60 or 70 countries, and they are very kind to me, and I also try to be kind to them. They are very, very devoted to me, and I tell them, I am not the Guru, I am not the Guru. There is only one Guru, and that Guru is God Himself. So I try to direct them towards God. Only one Guru. I am only their elder brother, because I have started yoga long before they did. A real Guru is a God lover and man server. Guru is a Sanskrit word. It means the person who illumines the seeker or student is a Guru.
Not a cult leader. I want to make it clear.
Cult,
not to be confused with that.
No, not. And according to me, if one does not follow the same way I live,
yes,
then I'm accused of being a cultist.
Yes.
The world is like that. I have to do exactly the same way you do everything. Then I'm in your boat. Then I don't follow any cult. But if I do not see eye to eye with you,
yes,
in anything, then I belong to a cult.
And of course you embrace people of all religions.
Yes, I am for all. It is like I'm like a tree. Our life tree has so many branches. Mm-hmm. So you are a branch, I am a branch, and he is a branch. Everybody represents a branch. But the life tree, it is our eternity's aspiration cry. We are growing up.
Do you follow any particular diet?
No. Well, I am a strict vegetarian, and my students are all strict vegetarian.
Why vegetarianism?
We know deep within us there are animal qualities. We quarrel, we fight, we are jealous of others, and we do many things undivine. Now, when you look at an animal, we see these are the animal qualities and propensities we see around us. But if we eat meat, then the qualities of the animal world enter into us. Whereas if we eat vegetables, then the mild qualities of the vegetable kingdom enters into us. So we are trying to have a quiet, mild life. Therefore, it is advisable to be vegetarian if one wants to expedite the spiritual progress.
Gurudev, it is obvious to you that there are scientists out there, I'm sure, who hear you say that if one eats meat, one acquires the mentality of the animal.
One becomes restless. That's all. Now here we're trying desperately to become calm and quiet and tranquil, so it will not serve our purpose.
How do you respond to the skeptical scientist, though, who says, how can you prove this?
Spirituality is not something to prove. And if I know what I am doing satisfies me, I do not have to budge an inch to prove to you or anybody else. The very fact that I am enjoying what I am supposed to enjoy. So here, by proving to others, what do we gain? We just enter into the world of confusion and contradiction. Whereas if I know that I am enjoying nectar, divine bliss, let the whole world criticize me or disbelieve me. I will not pay any attention to it. For if I know what my goal is, and if I am in my goal, let the world tell me that I have not come even to the starting point. I shall not mind.
Do you follow any particular diet?
I'm a strict vegetarian from the age of 12. Until the age of 12, I used to eat meat, fish, and so forth, and being a
Not at all now.
Oh no, now I don't. From the age of 12, at the age of 12, I entered into a spiritual community in South India, and there meat and fish are forbidden. So now, since then, my students also, I have disciples all over the world.
Yes.
They do not take meat and fish because meat, fish, they make us restless. They aggravate our consciousness. Our spiritual life needs poise, peace, and calmness, tranquility.
I must break here. That's the only reason I'm interrupting. But obviously, that precludes dumb things like drugs and alcohol and.
I'm getting calmer as I talk to you.
I know it's beautiful when you're with him. It's terrific feeling.
Anything that stimulates us is forbidden.
I've seen you in concert, and we've talked many times, and I've learned a lot from you. The one thing I have not done is I have not gotten to the restaurant. Do you have the restaurant in Queens?
Yes, in Queens. Food is God.
Yeah, well, I hear a lot about it. What does that mean? Food is God?
Food is God.
Yeah, it's vegetarian.
Vegetarian, strict.
Yeah, which you are, of course.
Yes, I have been a strict vegetarian for the last 46 years.
I should have mentioned that you are now, what, 58?
58. So at the age of 12, I gave up meat, fish, and so forth.
As a boy in India?
As a boy.
And never ate again?
God is God's compassion eye fountain. Man is man's suspicion mind mountain. Humanity needs only one thing, the resurrection of its long lost faith in God. To feel and say that you love God, but God does not love you, is the startling and shameless revelation of your own insincerity. God tells us that if we want to be perfect instruments of His, then our own aspiration heart needs more intensity, and our dedication life needs more purity. When we are on the verge of realization, it is like we become the dawn and we face the morning sun. We prepare ourselves on the strength of our prayers, meditations, and dedication and self-giving. So when you are on the verge of realization, we see the dawn is breaking and the light is spreading allwhere, and the sun is rising, the morning sun. It is step by step, and or you can say everything goes together. When you face the sun, we do not say this is the sun. When the light comes, when the darkness of the night disappears, we feel that we see the light around us. Exactly the same way, when the inner sun bursts forth or the inner sun is rising, we can easily see, not only feel, we can easily see the inner sun rising. Each individual has an inner sun, and greatly advanced souls have more than one. They have 15, 16, 20 like that. But each individual is bound to have an inner sun as the way we see the outer sun, the planet. When the inner sun is blossoming, say like a lotus, petal by petal, we can see it, and we see that our illumination is fast dawning. One achieves God realization through meditation and prayer, and a God-realized person is he who has established a free access to the inner pilot within him. If God realization takes place, then one becomes part and parcel of the universe. Universal consciousness is revealed. So how will I have a concept? People who have not seen God, then they will say that we have not seen God, then why should we think of God? If we see someone, then it is easier for us to think of him. Even if he's from a distant place, think of him, or to send our goodwill, love, affection and all that. But we are taught from the very beginning, the soul has taught, our parents taught that God exists. And who is God? God is all kindness, God is all affection, God is all the divine qualities that we have. Again, this is how we take of God. But if you say that we have no concept of God, if we say that since we don't have any idea of God realization, why to bother about? Then do you have any idea of God? God and God realization, it is like part and parcel, flower and the fragrance. If God is the fragrance, then God realization is the flower. If God realizes the flower, then God is the fragrance. That way we have to take. So if we say that we have no idea of God realization, then how can you pray and meditate? And I will say, have you any idea of God? It is only mental conception. People have told, we read in the book, God is a nice person, we are all infinitely better than us. That's why we try to emulate, we try to have the good qualities that God has and God is. Similarly, God realization is something we have to know. When you have God realized, at that time universal consciousness becomes yours. What is happening in the universe, you can know if you want to. If you don't want to know, then millions and billions of things you can do if you want to. Nearly thousands of things a God realized person does, but a human being cannot do it. Before God realization, when I used to do perhaps 5 or 6 things. Once I became aware, there is not a single day in all that I don't do thousands of things in inner world. And there will be spiritual masters who have realized God, they also do it. They do millions of things because again they do not use their mind. They do not use the mind. With our mind you can do only one thing, then go to the next. Good mind can work very fast, 1, 2, 3 like that. But mind cannot do 2 things at the same time. But when you have God realized, when you realize God, then you can do many, many things. Now the question is, just because I don't know, I have no idea of God realization, it is impossible for me to think of a subject. But now, then is there, before you learn any subject, you have no idea what the subject will be like. So God realization is also like that. When you say God realization is not something mental hallucination or it is something vague. Only if you read book, then you know that what God realization is. God realization is oneness with God's will. God realization, not my will. Now how will I know what God's will is? That is why we enter into spiritual life. I used to read out my very first poem in English. This particular poem I wrote 45 years ago. The Golden Flute. A sea of peace and joy and light, beyond my reach I know. In me the storm-tossed weeping night finds room to rage and flow. I cry aloud, but all in vain. I helpless, the earth unkind. What soul of might can share my pain? Death dart alone I find. Reft am I on the sea of time, my oars are washed away. How can I hope to reach the climb of God's eternal day? But hark, I hear the golden flute, its notes bring the summit down. Now safe am I, O absolute. Gone death, gone night's stark frown. Between nothingness and eternity, barren of events, reaching pretensions, my earthly life, obscurity, my real name. Wholly unto myself I exist. I wrap no soul in my embrace, no mentor worthy of my caliber have I. I am all alone between failure and frustration. I am the red thread between nothingness and eternity. With a blank sorrow, heavy I am now grown, like things eternal, changeless stands my woe. In vain I try to overcome my foe. O Lord of love, make me more dead than stone. Thy grace of silent smile I never feel. The forger of evil stamps my nights and days. His call my sleepless body ever obeys. My heart I annihilate and try to heal. The dumb earth waste now burns a hell to my soul. I fail to fight with this stupendous doom. My breath is a slave of that unending gloom. For light I pine, but find a tenebrous goal. Smoke clouds cover my face of spirit's fire. Naked I move in night's ignorance deep and dire. Apocalypse. This particular poem is among my first 5 poems. It's over 45 years ago. Within, without, the cosmos wide am I. In joyful sweep, I loose forth and draw back all. A birthless, deathless spirit that moves and is still, ever abides within to hear my call. I who create on earth my joys and doles, to fulfill my matchless quest in all my play, I veil my face of truth with golden hues, and I see the serpent night and python day. A consciousness bliss I feel in each breath. I am the self-amorous child of the sun. At will I break and build my symbol sheath, and freely enjoy the world's unshadowed fun. In 1964, I wrote this particular poem. This is perhaps the first poem I wrote on American soil. I am a thief. I am a thief. I steal every night. Each theft of mine kindles a thrill on the Supreme's all-fulfilling eye. What do I steal? His grace, my meal. Why do I steal? It compels me so. Perhaps he finds no other way to feed my spirit's hunger stark with the nectar of his shadowless ray. The pilgrims of the Lord Supreme. We are the pilgrims of the Lord Supreme on the path of infinity. At this time we have broken asunder abstraction's door. We have broken asunder the night of tenebrous darkness in conscience and the eternal indomitable fear of death. The boat of the supernal light's dawn is beckoning us, and the world pilot of the hallowed bond of love divine is beckoning us. The liberator's hands are drawing us to the ocean of the great unknown, having conquered the life breath of the land of immortality and carrying aloft the banner of the Lord Supreme. We shall return with the drops and flames of transformation light. Oh, my Lord of beauty, you are beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, beauty unparalleled in the Garden of Eden. Day and night, may the image abide in the very depths of my heart. Without you, my eyes have no vision. Everything is an illusion. Everything is barren. All around me, within and without, the melody of tenebrous pangs I hear. My world is filled with excruciating pangs. O Lord, O my beautiful Lord, O my Lord of beauty, in this lifetime, even for a fleeting second, may I be blessed with the boon to see thy face. The previous poem and this poem are the translations I translated these poems from my Bengali original. The soul bird, O world ignorance, although you have shackled my feet, I am free. Although you have changed my hands, I am free. Although you have enslaved my body, I am free. I am free because I am not of the body. I am free because I am not the body. I am free because I am the soul bird that flies in infinity sky. I am the soul child that dreams on the lap of the immortal King Supreme. If I have to say who I am a student of peace. Some people say I am an ambassador of peace, international ambassador. I don't claim them, I don't dare to claim them, but I want to remain a peace, student of peace and a peace dreamer. Wherever I go, I dream of peace, and wherever I go, I learn the message of peace from the countrymen that I visit.
At which point in your life did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I came to America in 1964. That was my final decision to come and be of service not only to America but to the Western world. And I have been doing that since that time. I have been praying, meditating, offering my peace prayers at the United Nations. This has been going on for the last 27 years, and have been visited many countries with the same hope and same mission, same purpose.
Why the western part of the world? Do they need more help in the western part of the world?
Oh no, as I said before, I am a man of prayers and a man of meditation. So when we pray and meditate, we get inner messages. Either we call it soul or God, somebody, the inner guide, tells us, prompts us to do certain things. So I was commanded from within, deep within, to come to America. So it is not an act of whim, but it is from my prayer life I got this inner message to be of service in the West. And if the same inner pilot asks me to go and be of service to India or in the Eastern world, I will be more than happy to abide by the dictates of the inner being.
Tell me this, I assume you began in India. You were born in India, studied in India. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and why you came here?
I came here because I was commanded by my inner pilot. Therefore, I came here to serve him in the aspiring West. And I was brought up in a spiritual community. I stayed there for 20 years. At the age of 12, I started practicing spirituality.
Many people would like to know, and this is a Western question, although not mine, but I feel free to ask it, my inner pilot, I guess. Why would you leave India? Why do many other spiritual masters leave India when there is great need and trouble in India?
Now, about others, I have no right to say anything. As regards my own spirituality, or as regards my coming over to the West, I could say that in my case, I do not make any choice. I have no freedom of my own. If just today, if my inner pilot commands me to go back to India, I will be the happiest person. And I always listen to the dictates of my inner pilot. For me, there is no such thing as America or India or Europe or Africa. This world belongs to my inner pilot. So today he wants me to be in America in a particular home, and tomorrow he can ask me to be in another home. So I will be always ready to abide by his command.
Have another big goal. You've done lifting, music, art, poetry, writing, all of these accomplishments. What's the next goal?
My only goal, eternal goal, is to become part and parcel of universal peace. I am a truth seeker. I am a God lover. I would like, my only prayer is to see and feel and become one with universal peace. This is what we need
badly
what the
is
world
peace.
needs.
What the world needs is peace, nothing else.
Okay.
So my prayer, my meditation, they all revolve around peace.
Well, now I know because it was written up in the newspapers here that you presented the collection of your books to Mayor Beam. And the book stood 7 feet tall, which must have been very interesting next to our revered mayor. But I'd like to know how, with the meditating you do, teaching, how much time do you allot for all these writings that you do?
I'm the first person to disbelieve all this, but I am a mere instrument of my inner pilot. If one surrenders one's will to the inner pilot, there is no such thing as impossibility. So it is the inner pilot that does everything in and through me, and I try to become a perfect instrument of his.
But do you allot different times during your day to accomplish certain tasks?
No, I have no set schedule.
No.
Only I entirely depend on his will. This moment he will ask me to do something, and the next moment he will ask me to do something else. And there is no hard and fast rule in my life that I shall have to devote a few hours to this. Of course, I have to go to various places and I run centers. That I have to do it at a proper time schedule. But when it is a matter of composing songs or writing or painting, I have no fixed schedule.
That brings us to the point. I noticed that you brought a musical instrument with you. Could you show it to us and tell us what it is and perhaps play something?
Thank you.
What do you call this instrument?
We call it esrar. Esrar, it is an Indian instrument.
And is this used in your services?
This is one of the instruments that I use. If you are there.
I believe you also paint.
Yes, I do.
And what sorts of paintings do you like to do?
Mostly I do abstract paintings.
Did you study art?
I've never studied art. Again, I have surrendered my will to the will of the Supreme. I just try to become a humble instrument of His.
There are over 125 Sri Chinmoy centers around the world. What goes on in them? What happens in the centers?
My students all over the world, wherever there are centers, they pray and meditate, and they read my writings. And also, as you know, I've composed thousands of songs. They listen to the music, and they are also, some of them are accomplished musicians and singers, so they sing. This is prayer life. We pray, and then they meditate. We read my books, and also they read books written by others, spiritual books. This is what.
There's going to be more poems that you'll write, more paintings that you'll paint, more music that you'll play, and obviously a lot more running and weightlifting and lifting people. You've lifted over 1,000 of them already, so the achievements will go on for your entire life, which is why I think sometimes they refer to you as the global man. But explain what that concept means briefly. Briefly, what do we mean when we say the global man? I have a reason for asking.
According to me, a global man is he whose aspiration heart cries to God the Creator for the oneness joy of God the creation. You and I are God the creation. We are God, but we are God the creation. And then there is somebody else who is God the Creator. So God the Creator and God the creation must go together. We are praying to God the Creator to give us the feeling of oneness.
Meditate always when you're lifting weights, when you're doing the music, the compositions, poetry, art, when the paintings. Is it always when you're meditating?
If it is personal, in my case, I always feel that somebody is meditating in and through me. Consciously I meditate for hours, and again I see and feel clearly that my inner pilot, I call, he is praying, he is meditating in and through me. And sports, we feel physical fitness is of paramount importance. If you are physically fit, then we shall be able to work most diligently. If you are physically unfit, then we cannot accomplish anything. So physical fitness is of paramount importance, and sports definitely can help promote peace, because sports gives us joy. We compete with others, although there is rivalry, but we get joy from running, jumping, and doing other activities. Let us say Olympics. All the countries are meeting together. They show their capacities. And then somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So the one that loses, the one who loses, prepares himself again for the next Olympic. Sports, it gives us the feeling of children. Children are always happy. They are all the time running and jumping and all. So sports can definitely help us to bring about world peace. Happiness. If there is happiness, then there is peace. If there is peace, then there is happiness. Peace and happiness go together. We do not have even an iota of peace. That's why we are unhappy. And because we are unhappy, we speak ill of others, we try to punish others, we try to destroy others. But if you have peace of mind, if you have peace deep within us, we accept the whole world as our own, very own.
Here, I do believe that you were originally invited to come here by the veteran athletes for their 7th World Championships.
Right.
What was your participation in that, sir?
I was in the opening ceremony. I offered my prayers for world peace, and I gave a very short speech.
I think we have some videotape of that opening ceremony. Maybe you'd like to explain. This is, of course, your prayer.
Yes. Here I was praying for the world peace, and I'm extremely grateful to Australia for planting in a hard garden a beautiful peace tree, world peace, oneness world peace tree.
It's lovely. It's nice to see so many of the veteran athletes from all over the world come to Melbourne to be part of this. It must have been quite thrilling for you.
Right. People must not think of their age. They can only think of the spirit, inner spirit, indomitable spirit.
You've kind of proven that yourself, haven't you, really?
I'm trying.
You spent some 20 years under spiritual guidance, learning your
how
spiritual
to pray and
works,
meditate.
right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also got involved in athletics, which I find quite interesting. That's unusual, isn't it?
It is absolutely necessary, and the physical fitness is of paramount importance. If you are physically fit, then you will be able to pray and meditate regularly, and then we shall have both inner power and outer strength. They must go together.
in order to be a perfect human being.
One complements the other, in other words. You've been quoted as saying your spiritual inside helps you with your physical outside.
Absolutely. It is the inner power that has to come to the fore and then offer services to mankind.
You will forgive me, Sri Chinmoy, if I say to you, you are not a physically big man, and yet you, with one hand, was able to raise 7,000 odd pounds in weight. Now that's an enormous feat.
I entirely depend on God's grace. It is not my physical capacity. It is, but God's grace can do the impossible very easily.
There we have, but that's well in excess of 7,000 pounds weight you're lifting there with one hand.
Here I was lifting up in my body weight, which is with one hand. Yesterday at the studio, 73.5 was the actual weight, and my body weight was 70.5 kilos. So a little 6 pounds more than my body weight.
That's amazing, absolutely amazing. But we shouldn't give the folk at home the impression that these are only the things you do. You also concentrate a great deal of your life on music.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about athletics for just a moment. Now, you are in the Guinness Book of World Records, and you are a world record holder in weightlifting. You have lifted over 7,000 pounds, as I understand it, with one hand, one arm.
Twice I did it, once with my right hand and once with my left hand. I did it.
How did you do it? That's a lot of weight, 7,000 pounds, Sri Chinmoy.
Again, it is all, as I said before, it is all God's grace. If we pray to God, then whatever He wants to do in and through us, you know, my own body weight, I have lifted 100 times. And tomorrow, our philosophy is the philosophy of self-transcendence. We do not compete with anybody. We compete only with ourselves. If I'm a good person, I try to become a better person. If I'm better, then I try to become a best person, but not by competing with others. Only I know my own limitations. Yesterday, I know how much limitation I had, weaknesses. Today, I try to minimize it. Tomorrow, I will try to make it, diminish it completely. See, tomorrow, I will do something in my weightlifting world. About 2 years ago, I lifted my body weight. At that time, my body weight was 156 pounds, and I lifted it 100 times, and in front of the international judge. The same judge will come tomorrow to examine me, and I will try to better my timing. Yes, previously it was 23 minutes, and tomorrow I will try to do it in 15 minutes. So it's self-transcendence. I compete with myself. This is how we are trying to improve not only the physical, but the mind, the heart, and everything that we have and we are.
Why is it important to work on the physical strength as well as the spiritual?
Physical strength is if you are physically strong. I'm not saying I have to be the world's strongest man. Far from it. I don't want to be world's greatest boxer or wrestler. No, but if we have strength, some physical strength, not to fight, then our mind gets some nourishment. Our vital gets nourishment. This is something we are using for the right purpose. If I'm very weak, if physically weak, mentally weak, then I can, every morning I will get up and I'll have headache, stomach upset, and so many things, then it will torture. But if I'm physically fit, here physical strength is physical fitness. If I'm physically fit, then early in the morning I'll be able to pray and meditate and do the needful. That is why we give so much importance to physical fitness. While we are physically fit, and if strength comes from physical fitness, I feel it is quite acceptable.
There are over 125 Sri Chinmoy centers around the world. What goes on in them? What happens in the centers?
My students all over the world, wherever there are centers, they pray and meditate, and they read my writings. And also, as you know, I've composed thousands of songs. They listen to the music, and they are also, some of them are accomplished musicians and singers, so they sing. This is prayer life. We pray, and then we meditate. they read my books, and also they read books written by others, spiritual books. This is what.
How are your spiritual lectures conducted? Most Westerners are familiar to some extent with a Mass in a Catholic church, or a Protestant ceremony, or a Jewish ceremony. Can you describe what you do?
I give talks and I answer questions, and also I teach my students, my disciples all over the world, how to meditate. And I have written, as you know, considerably, and also I help them inwardly. God, out of His infinite bounty, has given me the capacity to communicate with the souls of the seekers. So I teach the souls of the individual how to convince the aspiring heart and the searching mind to pray and meditate. So I mostly deal with the souls. When the souls deal with the individuals, I feel it is most effective. Otherwise, when we give mantra to some individuals or ask them to practice some mantras, the mind comes to the fore. And the mind is right now all confusion. The mind needs illumination. Whereas if we start our journey right in the heart or with the heart, then heart is identification. Here we can establish our inseparable oneness with the soul right in the heart. So our path is the path of the heart and not of the mind.
Do you ever get angry?
Well, I am a human being, but my anger may not be the same as somebody else's anger. Sometimes I have to pretend to my students, because that is the only way they can understand.
Acting. Do you do a little acting when you're working with your students?
No, only it is sometimes, you know, it is like a show outwardly, so that they may take seriously. But it is not the anger of an animal or beast and to kill someone or to destroy, far from it.
But do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
So you drive in?
No, I don't drive. Now my students don't. I have quite a few students. They say that you take care of our inner world, we have to take care of your outer life. So I have my license and everything, but they are very kind. They say, you are helping us in our inner lives, so we should help you in your outer lives. So while you are in the car, you can pray, you can meditate, you can do everything, whatever you want to. So they are kind to me.
So you probably have 75% less anger anyway than the average person, because
God alone knows.
driving around.
so much tension, then they're kind to me. So I can do my own inner work.
Do you know how many students that you have?
I have now disciples, if you call, who are following our path seriously and devotedly, about 1,500. And then again, followers, I have over 2,000. And friends and admirers, there are many. But who are strictly, let us say, are in our boat, about 1,500.
What does it mean to be a follower of Sri Chinmoy? Does it mean that we put pictures of you up in our house
no.
in front of them? Or?
There are two kinds. Followers are not observing, you know, they are not so serious, they are not observing the rules and regulations. Means whereas the disciples, they pray early in the morning, they meditate, they read my books, and then it is disciples are those who have accepted the inner life, spiritual life, infinitely more seriously than the followers. Followers, they can meditate today, and for quite a few days they may not meditate. Once in a blue moon, they can be very serious and sincere in the spiritual life, whereas the disciples will be serious and sincere every day. They have taken up the spiritual life seriously. The followers have not taken up the spiritual life seriously.
The disciples are the ones who follow what you more closely, what you said, rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations.
So the rules might be rules such as you get up at 5 and meditate.
Yes, meditate and read books, and then sing some songs which will inspire them. Spiritual songs. I've composed quite a few songs, thousands of songs. So they can be inspired both in English and Bengali. Bengali is my mother tongue, and in English I have composed thousands of songs. So it is like one cannot meditate for hours, but one can read. After meditation, one can read spiritual books, and one can sing soulful songs, and then again late in the evening before they go to sleep. They can pray, meditate, and read books. And
is it possible for people who are not of your religious persuasion?
Excuse me, mine is not a religion. Mine is just a road. We walk along a road. Religion is not the same as the road. We walk along the road. You can practice your religion, she can practice her religion, and I can practice my religion. But if you walk along the road, there is no objection. We can reach our destiny.
Now, prayer and meditation are important to you.
Absolutely.
You don't care what the religion is, whether it's Catholic, Jewish,
no,
Buddhist,
for me,
Hindu, Muslim,
right.
it's all the same.
No, each religion, according to me, is a home.
Okay.
We have to be in your house, I have to be in my house. But then again, we have come here together. So then we say, there should be always a meeting place, but a residing place. You will be at your place and I will be at my place. But then again, to exchange our thoughts, goodwill, love, friendship, we have to be at a particular place. Our philosophy is very simple. Not what we say, not what we do, but what we ultimately become. What we ultimately become is of paramount importance. Not what we are doing many things wrong, most deplorable things we are doing. But today is not the ultimate answer. That is called future. Future is blossoming in the presence, in the heart of today. So today's world is full of conflicts, wrong ideas, destructive ideas, reign supreme, destructive thoughts reign supreme. But God has a very special plan. He is infinite in goodness and infinite in greatness, infinite is kindness. It is His creation. He will never allow His creation to be destroyed. A child, when she plays with a doll, if some people, mischievous boys throw it away, she gets seriously mad because it is her creation. She has all love, all fondness for her doll. Similarly, we are all God's creation. He will not allow His creation to be destroyed. Never, never. But now we are going through for years we have been going through a very dark period. So sometimes we know that night, when the night is the thickest, then the bright dawn appears. So here we feel that right now the world situation is most deplorable. But this is not going to last for good. It is a matter of, I feel, as this seeker, God seeker and God lover, I feel that very soon, I'm not saying tomorrow or in a month or a year or two, but in the near future, the world will see the dawn of world history. In the near future, a new light will dawn and it will clear all the clouds that have thick clouds that have gathered together for years. So not what we are saying now, not what we are doing now, but what we ultimately become. We shall all ultimately become choice instruments of God. Our philosophy is hope. Hope is not kind of mental hallucination, but inside hope looms large promise. And then when we fulfill our promises, then we feel that our inner strength has done it, not the outer strength, weapons, destructive weapons, nuclear weapons, no. It is our heart's inner strength, strength of oneness. Oneness will one day conquer the man-made weapons, destructive weapons. But the strength of the heart, which is oneness, inseparable oneness with the whole world, that strength will definitely conquer the man's made strength. Oneness will be the conqueror of the whole world, oneness, inseparable oneness. And for that we need seekers. This oneness should not be a dictionary word, but it has to be living presence, living reality inside our hearts.
If there were one thing everyone that you're touching today could do tomorrow to help that, what would that be?
Well, yes, we call it the tears of the heart, not the tears of the eyes. The tears of the eyes are fleeting. The tears of the heart, a cry, a most sincere cry for oneness, oneness, oneness. Political leaders always talk about oneness. This talk, division is we see in their actions, it is always division, division. But the same people talk about oneness, and oneness does not come, it will never come, by exercising supremacy. We exercise supremacy. I shall have to be one step ahead of you, then it is oneness. This is called oneness of the present day world. But real oneness is, we shall see it not only stand side by side, but we shall be inside the heart of one another. That is oneness. My feelings, good wills, everything, I shall transfer into your heart, and vice versa. You also will do the same. Then, so oneness of the heart, oneness of the mind, it is a sheer joke. Oneness, when you talk about oneness with your minds, I feel that is nothing but joke. It is always, I shall have to be superior to you. I shall have to, by hook or by crook, I shall have to be superior to you. Then only it is oneness. This kind of oneness is no oneness. You and I should be on the same level, on the same footing, plus inside each other, inside your heart, I must feel the living presence of God's universal oneness, and you will also feel the same. Then only oneness will take birth here on earth, but it will definitely, oneness will blossom here in the soil of Mother Earth.
If you look over history, does that ebb and flow? Has that ebbed and flowed? Is it cyclical? Is the fulfillment of that kind of an effort? Have we seen it before?
Who am I? It is only from a personal experience I can say, inner experience, but I am not an authority on that subject. Only I, from my inner experiences, I feel that before the First World War, or Second World War, even before the First World War, people didn't know, many countries, they're far off countries there. At that time there was no aeroplane to make the world close. It's a matter of hours. You can go from one end of the world to another. There's nothing. But there, at that time, people who were living, they took the world as one. They had tremendous goodwill for the rest of the world. outwardly they didn't know whether so many countries existed or not. They didn't know the names of like that. But they had a good feeling that we belong to one family, we belong to one God. See, this long before the First World War. But gradually we have lost. Now we are in the talking process. We only talk and talk and talk. So we hope that talking will one day grow into becoming. Now politicians all over the world, they are making the world one by exercising their supremacy. They say it's on. If you remain inferior to me, then you are perfect, I am perfect. But if I, being inferior, want to come up to your level, then you will crush me down. So this is what is happening. So from my own aspiring life, I've been aspiring for years and years and years. I feel deep within that this world of ours will not forever remain the same. Because being a seeker, I know there are many thousands and thousands upon thousands seekers like me on earth who are trying to have a new world of light and not a world of darkness, chaos and darkness. So our prayers, I strongly feel that will not end in vain. Why? Because the prayer that we do, the aspiring life that you have accepted, I feel it is come from God Himself. We have not created the aspiring life. No, God has inwardly inspired us to accept to pray for the oneness of the world. So this inspiration that we now have, I strongly feel and know that it has come directly from God. And God's will always prevail. Ultimately, God's will not surrender to any man-made, whims or creation. So I have strong faith, very strong, like many countless people have strong faith in God, that God's will one day rule the world, and not like today, that some people who have the power, they are trying to dominate us. No. Now let us say darkness is predominant, but it is not going to be all the time. Then light, illumine, the power of light will definitely illumine the darkness. Darkness tries to devour light, but light never devours. Light only illumines the darkness. See at night how dark it is. Then the day dawns, then darkness disappears. Similarly, the inner light will one day illumine the outer darkness. This outer darkness is the song of division. So this outer darkness will one day be illumined by the inner light. The inner light is coming to the fore, and it's trying to illumine the outer darkness.